autumn is coming.
Crazy, eh? It's grind time, sitting inside, just doing what you love to do, right?
Exactly. I think that is the most Dutch attitude you can formulate. That's the right attitude, indeed. You can really lock down, no distraction, no FOMO anymore. So yeah. You mentioned you have something on your chest that you return today to another session with me, and you want to
Yeah,
talk about AI. How come?
it's insane what's happening in the industry, right? Regarding software, AI, and all of that stuff. It's also fun that like our proper conversations nowadays, like you and me, is this call. That's super weird. But like today we were in two calls, but then with developers and all types of people, so you don't really have a good conversation with each other. But to recap on what happened yesterday was two investors were at the office. We had a nice meeting about our new software platform that we were building together with the rest of the team, of course. And one of the two guys just flew in from San Francisco to visit like Stanford with AI projects and all of that. And he was telling me like Europe is just so far behind regarding what is happening there because that is like the hub. So we talked about that for hours. And it was super fun to see like how do you implement AI in our software, right? And what will the future hold regarding financial markets, investing in general? Are still human beings investing, or is it all automated, or is it just all fully AI? So we had a great conversation about that yesterday. And the other guy we spoke to was more or less eager to figure out like, do we want to build AI in our software to be an assistant, or do we really want to put AI in a machine, like in an algorithm to trade the markets, right? How you passed FTMO, let's say you put AI machine learning in that system. What will happen then, right? Will it learn about the mistakes it made before? How will that affect the markets? Like, it's a crazy topic, to be honest. It's like endless.
Yeah, indeed, and it's very practical thoughts, to be honest, right? There's, I mean, they already applied in everyday life. Some companies are doing this in Europe as well, but definitely not as far, obviously, as in America, for instance. And then, like these kind of questions, what kind of angle you want to take with the AI, how much it should like take over of the process of a platform whatsoever. Pretty cool. Any like major takeaways or for, like for the platform, or actually maybe one step further back? What is the platform about you're talking about here?
Yeah, so we see the trend develop within the trading industry that a lot of people start to realize like manual trading is where you start. It's how we started. You didn't really start manually, by the way, because when I met you when I was living in France and you too was like, okay, this is manual trading. And the first thing you were like, why not automate this, right? So you had a different path than I did. But like the trend we are seeing is going from active trader to more or less a semi-passive trader that you just automate exactly the strategy you are trading manually, right? You're analyzing the charts, you're doing your technical analysis, for instance, seeing a pattern and then automate that. And that's like the trend we see. So we were thinking like, how can we help all those traders shift from manual trading to fully automated trading without having to code, right? Because coding is so extremely slow. It is a great skill to have, but it will take you years to develop that skill, first of all. And then when you have that skill, then you need to write a lot of code to automate the strategy. And that's also not the quickest way of doing it because you want to test like maybe 20 strategies, 50, 100 strategies. Because based on my experience and all our students and just the community, we figured out like you need to automate a lot of strategies to find the right ones. And with like building a platform we are building that you don't need to code, like a no coding platform, that you can build way quicker and then you can reach that sample size of 100 way quicker, right? That's how I see more or less the vision and the story behind our software. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, there's just certain parts you always have to do over and over again, right? That's what you do in manual trading.
Mm.
And since you do this over and over again, you can automate this. And I mean, the same resembles also in coding. You don't rebuild everything from scratch like ever. You always have like kind of libraries, kind of
Hmm.
templates. Same stuff for the
Yeah.
platform. So yeah, 100% agree. Absolutely. Also fasten up the whole process and takes off the distraction, right? Because it's already kind of hard enough to understand the markets, finding a viable strategy, and then putting like the necessity to learn coding on top of that makes it kind of cumbersome. And yeah, I would
Yeah.
say the platform takes off this kind of cumbersome structure as of now.
Yeah. I still think that there's always room like to actively trade and also automate certain parts of your strategy, perhaps only your management or perhaps only your entries, because sometimes you sleep. We don't trade the Asian session if I trade manually, or maybe I wake up for a quick check if I'm a manual trader. But there are so many small things that it would be nice to automate, right? And I think every trader knows that. And it doesn't really mean that if you go fully automated, that you cannot sometimes just keep trading manually, right? That's what I still
Mm.
do, right? It's like a hybrid approach. You have fully automated strategies, you have strategies where you execute manually and then it is automatically managed. Like it is what you want to do, right? Do you agree with like a hybrid approach, or are you more like just straight automation?
Well, that's a good question. I think it depends on your personality, on your desires, I guess. And even the automated way is also not 100% automated. So I think it's a good way to probably start manual and then shift into automated trading, because then you
Mm,
know all the tools, you know the
yeah,
operational side of entering, exiting, managing trades, what the software is doing. Because otherwise, it's already abstract enough, and then kicking it off right from the get go, fully automated, might make it too abstract. So I think
true.
starting manual, shifting into automated trading. That's a pretty good approach. I mean, it worked out for me so far.
Yeah, that's true. Like you pass your FTMO without setting one trade yourself, right? It was just fully automated. You put in the effort. It was like not free money. You did put in a work to build the system and then backtest the system. But yeah, backtest manually. I remember from the old days that I was backtesting for months manually to just have some data, right? To have collect like 100 trades. And well, you now also backtested, but way quicker, right? And
Way
then
quicker. It's one click. You do
yeah,
100 of trades in 10 minutes while you're
yeah,
getting a coffee, and you don't have to log into the charts
yeah,
and also like document all those trades manually. What is quite error sensitive and stuff, right?
true.
Yeah, it's convenient at the end of the day and scalable. So you
Yeah.
can, as you already mentioned, you can test so many strategies at once that eventually you will find something viable. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm really like trying to push like to test as many strategies as possible. I'm pretty aggressive with that in the sense of just when I'm not doing anything, it feels like I'm slacking a little bit with testing. So I remember like in February when I was out skiing, it was just with my phone logging into a server, running an optimization, and then end of the day you just check the server and then you have like all those backtest reports ready for you, and then you can just keep working like doing that. Also, a big tip is of course backtest while you sleep or something. Just
Mm.
if you're developing a strategy, I don't know if you still develop a lot of strategies like ongoing every day, but sometimes you are thinking about the strategy and then you just think, I need to test everything. And then you have such a list like, I want to test all these entries, all these exits, all these management styles. And then you just need to plan that during your week, right? Besides your other
Exactly.
projects. Just know, okay, this backtest will take 2 hours. Then I check the server, click, and then go away again, right? What's your approach there?
Yeah, I mean, when I like remember back in the days having all those ideas in my notes somewhere on my phone, I was like, cool, this list is like my complete list for 2020, for example, right? Because it's so
Mhm.
long, it takes so much time. You have to take the time. But then being able to just, indeed, as you're saying, like clicking a button, letting the backtest run, maybe even having several kind of servers, not only your own local laptop, but actually like your servers running in the cloud, and then you can backtest so much more at the same time. It's a completely different way of thinking, of tackling this kind of puzzle
Yeah.
of the financial markets.
I
What
still
I guess
I still
should
have like 8 laptops of you here in this office.
yeah, one day I will pick them up.
Yeah.
One day I will pick them up.
Well, just have like online servers, right? You don't have to do it physically, but you're like so in
Exactly.
that grind. I need more PCs.
It was fun though. I felt like I was like mining Bitcoin or something, because they were
Yeah.
old ass laptops, like literally
Yeah.
potatoes for like 10 bucks bought from friends. And then just like
uh,
connecting them in the server farm, putting them in the same Wi-Fi, and ensuring everything runs. That was a cool learning though. Was very interesting. Yeah.
what did friends or families say to you when they came to your house, because they weren't always here at this office or the other one?
No, right. I think friends was like, "Really, you want this laptop? Cool, nice." And when they saw it, they were more like, they were astonished, like, we have never thought about you being a nerd or being like a coder guy. And it looked technical because there were wires and like the laptops were like
Yeah.
in a row, whatever. It looked techy, even though it was not really that techy, but it looked
No.
sophisticated. So I don't know. It was just surprise, but then mostly were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let's crack on with whatever we were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
much fun. Hey, through let's go back to AI a little bit. Like I was figuring out like how to use like OpenAI and just ChatGPT, like most people know, how to use that in my trading. So first of all, I was like really focused on let's develop trading strategies and indicators and all of that with AI. So let just give it the prompt, code this strategy, and then you get the code back and you import it in either MetaTrader or Trading View, and then see if it works. That approach doesn't really work, and I don't really like that approach. And then I was thinking like, okay, can I still use ChatGPT? And then I was just leaving it regarding the trading side behind for a couple of weeks. And then the latest update came, tested it again to see that if that code worked. Didn't really work, a lot of bugs. So still I was like, okay, strategy development is really not something uh, that is like the right path to pursue. However, what I did figure out is like a lot of traders do ASR, right? Advanced self review. So checking like I took this trade, was this a trade that fit my trading plan? Or did I miss a trade? All of that. So I exported literally the backtesting data and also the live data we have from live strategies, like the Pi track record. We are up like 300R or something. Like a lot of trades were taken there in the past 1100 days. So pretty decent track record to think, okay, I have a nice sample size, a nice amount of trades, a couple hundred trades. I exported that, put that in ChatGPT, and just asked it like, do you see patterns here? And then like a whole new book opened up for me. And I think that's like the path to pursue with AI at the moment where ChatGPT is, and also for like a lot of manual traders, but also automated traders. It's
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think we're not there yet to really like hand over all the actions to AI and then it can do whatever and it's so autonomous of doing these kind of decisions and creating all the strategies from
Mhm.
scratch. But I
Yeah.
think it's great in, as you're saying as well, like enhancing, finding patterns, and in the end, giving you kind of inspiration at the end of the day based on data you feed in. So it's not starting from a completely wild point, but it's having
Mhm.
something, right? For example, when you feed it with like trades from Pi, it's already somewhat knows like, okay, cool, it's based on this currency pair for this time frame on this period whatsoever. So you define kind of a framework. So yeah, super interesting,
I
absolutely, for
I
enhancing it.
even literally I made screenshots on my Mac to with like a chart open with trades on it, and I uploaded those screenshots to ChatGPT and told it like, "What do you see?" And it literally told me like, "You're winning trades because you see like if you have a buy trade and it runs longer, it notices okay that's a high risk to reward trade, so you bank a lot." It was like your winners are always in training markets. Well, obviously because you need a big move to bank big trade, right? But then it also did spot like deceleration before that, like price was just stalling and then exploded. I was like, okay,
Mm.
maybe a filter I can apply there. Another thing that I figured out what is quite interesting is I uploaded like first of all the order data, of course, like what type of trades did I take, live or in backtest and both. And then I asked it like, okay, can you do a proper news analysis? So you have NFP with if you're trading FX, you have like non-farm payrolls, like a lot of high impact news announcements every month. So I told it like, do you know when these bank rates happen, when NFP happens? And it told me, yes, that's always this and this date. Okay, now measure if I traded a day before that, during the news day, and the day after that, what would my performance be? And then you can filter like what is the impact of news on your taken trades, but also on your backtest trades. And I was like, shit, this really works. This is crazy
Yeah.
to see like how it is analyzing it. Did have some weird things in it, so it's not perfect, but it will get there, right?
Yeah, it's
Totally
pretty
insane.
sick because usually we can't really backtest based on that. It's like it's kind of hard to do so.
Mhm.
So, like, what would you say? Like, how precise was it? Like, how useful was it in like orchestrating?
It was quite useful because I think if you're totally new to trading, you cannot really figure out like what how can I say that? You cannot really figure out what to do with the information it provides to you because this very raw information, right? So it
Mm.
told me like your pound dollar trades, for instance, work the best when volatility is high. So the markets are very volatile, and that made me think, okay, what do I know as a trader that is a nice trading rule that I can apply and backtest on my system? And I did that, and after a couple tests, I figured out massive improvements for that pair. So I knew, okay, high impact news has an effect, but you don't want to trade the news. Like entering during the news, you have bad entries probably. But during just high volatile days, my entries became better on that particular pair with some trading rules added. So that was something I figured out that was fun. Other thing that I did spot was when I uploaded like the S&P data, volatility data, like just the fix, that's like the index for volatility. And what else did I yeah, the dollar index. I just uploaded that data, all not tick data, not like the best quality data, but just simple chart data. And it did measure like correlation when the DXY is doing this, then your trades are slightly more profitable or slightly worse. But no life changing things I spotted. But if you
Mm.
know what you're looking for, you can find massive improvements. And that did happen, honestly. And that's now what we run. So it's quite fun to play around with.
That's pretty decent, yeah. Yeah, certainly all of us having, for a tiny little fee, if you want to have the full version, right? Like a
Hmm.
little financial analyst sitting right next to you, what is so insane to think about when you think about it like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So it makes, I don't know, it enables like everyone guy to
Hmm.
pretend like being a professional hedge fund in the end, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, even though in the end you still have to be kind of the CEO, the decision maker, the
Hmm.
person who interprets what
Yeah.
AI is telling you, what you just said, right? In the end, you have to make the decision, but the analyzing part, I mean, that's pretty decent indeed. It's pretty
Yeah.
curious where it will be in 5 years, 10 years, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Insane. Really insane what's happening. Yeah.
What do you think? What was like the main takeaway from the American guy from yesterday about AI on and maybe
Um,
about trading? I don't know if you talk about trading or just about the platform.
yeah, a little bit about trading. It was like what is the future of what will be the impact of AI in the markets? And more or less the conclusion was like a lot of trading will probably be done with the help of AI, but every AI is trained differently. So will there be like an end product that is the best trader on earth and that's one
Mm,
AI? Probably no, because the markets are still filled with like weird stuff, right? Not everything is priced in, and not everything happened in a world yet that AI knows about, right? So you cannot train it properly. And a lot of markets are still based on like human psychology. And as long that is out there, I think there is always an edge to be found. And there is
mm,
always a trading strategy that will work, and there will always be a trading strategy that stops working and something that doesn't work. And that is just an endless cycle, right? Um, we have trading strategies that work for 5 years, and then the edge slowly fades away, right? And then you, in those 5 years, you probably did put in some work to have new strategies, right? So I think that flow will always be there. There are like hedge funds with investing like hundreds of millions in like the right infrastructure, working with AI. But AI is not that new, right? So still, there's not one hedge fund that's like outperforming like every other hedge fund together, right? Everyone still struggles here and there and performs sometimes really good based on the strategy and sometimes a little bit bad, right? So I don't really see that huge market impact with AI, but maybe more on the retail side of things, like that more people will invest in smart bots, AI bots. Like a lot of things you now see in the industry is like everyone markets their trading EA or just algorithm like this is AI, it is trained with AI. So I think that will maybe be a trend. Like a lot of people want to invest in that, but it's not like there's no holy grail there. I totally
yeah,
don't
right.
believe that. Otherwise, it was already found, right? Like
Mm. Yeah,
with
if it's
like
too obvious, I guess if I mean if an AI can find a really viable huge edge based on like publicly available data, like
Mhm.
that would be crazy. But I
Yeah.
think like a direct impact, not like on the financial markets, but at least on the industry itself, like on corporate America, what I read, it's like that associate analysts at, for example,
Hmm.
BCG or whatever other consulting firms or hedge funds, that they are like slightly being replaced by AI, right? Because
Yeah,
their skill sets are so, yeah, replaceable at the end of the day by AI. That is having definitely like an effect.
yeah,
And then it's really interesting because, I mean, depending on the model, how these models are being trained, mm, yeah, how they are being applied at the end of the day. But
yeah.
yeah, that is, I think, one of the current impact, I would say,
R-
what we can see
Yeah.
already,
Right now,
the
that's
replacement.
like you have that meme like I created this system with 1 minute of putting in prompts to AI, and then 2 days I'm debugging it. Like that's that meme nowadays that you just,
Yeah.
and I think that happens still also with companies like outside of just the trading industry. It's like exactly that example I gave before. Like I'm trying to build an indicator or something like with AI, and then it just doesn't work. It's like not even, it's not profitable, but literally doesn't work. The code is filled with bugs which
Mm.
cannot be solved because ChatGPT is not in direct connection with the software we use. So it's like it cannot check itself. And as long as you have that, I think it will be difficult. Another thing we talked about yesterday that was quite fun was, I cannot name the company that is doing this, but they, what they did was figure out, like, it's a huge company, they figured out what are my best coders, like what are the best employees I have, like the best developers, and how do they code and how does the code structure look like. Because he told me like most good developers, like your best employees, will leave eventually to move to a better deal, right? They want to go to another company, maybe start their own company, they just leave again. So a big problem for a lot of tech companies is the fact that documentation is not there, or the best coders leave, no one knows what they built or how they built all of that. So what they are doing, and probably a lot of other companies are doing this, probably not unique, but what they're doing is just grab all the code that was written by their best employees, learn that or give that as training data to a nice model, an AI model, and then every normal guy now at every company there or every project there has an AI that's trained as that best builder. So you have now a normal developer and then sort of an expert next to it, which is AI. And now
Mm.
all the code that is just written by just general people, probably still good developers, don't get me wrong, but they are just checked by AI that has the perfect structure of the code or whatever they desire at the company. So I
Yeah,
think
that
that
will be insane. That
that's
will be sick.
pretty cool. They've been doing that for a while now, and
Mm.
it's insane.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones as well, which will show in the next couple of years, because we have seen this already before, like companies that has been founded before the internet,
Hmm.
companies that has been created after the internet, and just how they set up the complete company structure, right? Companies who were raised with internet right from the get-go
Yeah,
outcompeted companies who already were created before. And even though maybe both companies did the same stuff, but just the company who were created after the bang of internet, they outperformed like the older companies. And I think the same stuff we maybe see as well with AI, right? Like maybe
probably. Yeah.
someone is not like in reinventing the wheel, doing something similar already, but simply because the company is implementing AI from the get go,
Hmm.
as you're saying, with like knowledge management and making sure that knowledge is not like wasted or getting lost. I think
Yeah.
that will be also super interesting. Like companies that start their venture with AI right from the start. That is, I think, will be really, 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 really interesting.
It's crazy shift. It's like not everything will be solved, and it's an endless discussion where AI will go to, and we won't get into that. But what I just sometimes when you read something like a couple, I think last month or something, not that long ago, I read like big company lost like 100 million client, or like a huge client that is just paying 100 million just due to AI. It was like, oh no, we automated this whole process. We don't need you anymore, right?
Mm.
That's crazy. Like you just, as a company owner, you know how it is, right? You watch your costs, you see where to invest your resources, and then if you can just save 100 million on something, you will do it, right? It's even you have a good relationship with that other company. 100 million is a lot of money to save, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But
And
when you can replace like 20% of your workforce,
yeah, right.
or
It's
make your current workforce 20% more efficient, poof,
yeah,
yeah, why
it's
not? Huh?
It's insane. So how is your trading,
Quickly,
by the way, going with FTMO?
I mean, I can quickly check. Let me take my phone. MT5.
You check it once a day, or
Yeah, something like this. Sometimes I just, to be honest, I sometimes just forget about it.
yeah.
So let's see. Can we see it?
You're in
A
profits.
little bit.
Floating is negative though,
Yeah.
but that
Floating is negative. So we are currently sitting at a floating negative profit of 57 bucks, but
Jesus.
we reeled in 132. So the equity is 75 bucks in plus, and we just
Mm,
closed today 6 trades on New Zealand cat and Aussie cat.
nice.
Quick
Yeah.
flash to
So,
camera.
oh yeah, you can see it. Nice. Yeah. So you have it low risk running, right? So what will you make? Like $1,000 a month, so something like that.
Yeah, even less because I kept it on the very low lot size just to really see what it's doing. And I will switch it next month, like after 4 weeks after the
Scale
first
it up.
payment, exactly. And then seeing maybe to add something else besides the machine,
Hmm.
getting a bit playful with the risk sizing, and then taking it from there. Yeah, but so far
Nice.
so good. So far so good. So today's the 10th of October. We are recording. So
Oh
in
yeah.
15 days that will be the first payout, and then yeah, of course, another update video about it.
Nice, man. Cool. Let's wrap this one up. It's already longer than we usually do, but AI is an endless topic, and I really like talking about it because it will have a major impact on like every trader and everyone in
Amen.
general that wants to be investing in the markets, and everyone should invest in the markets. So everyone will be involved with AI and investing. So yeah, let's wrap this up.
Eventually, let's wrap it up. Was a good one, Max. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Bye bye.